Okay, good afternoon again. 1 minute to go, so I guess I'll just lay the foundation, the groundworks, before I turn over to Miguel. Welcome to the third session of our HR entrepreneurship series. Before proceeding, I suppose you have read our instruction doon sa chat group. And with that, I am expecting that you have with you several colored pens or crayons and several papers because Migs will be helping us out to visualize and to put some working framework doon sa ating mga business ideas. Now, this is a mixed bunch. We have people um, in this virtual workshop that are part since day one. Okay, and we have somebody who joined us last week, and we have also participants who just joined us today. All right, so this session, yung mga tumapos na po no, kanilang worksheets number 1 and number 2, then they'll be able to mas mapapadali sa kanila yung magiging workshop today because basically they already have the foundation, the idea on that they are trying to work on. Now, to give everybody the background, what is workshop 1? So workshop 1, this is a process wherein as a person, as an individual, you have identified the inventory of your network, the people, inventory of your assets. So this could be your skill, this could be your experience, your knowledge, this could be your education, and identifying as well your passion, your advocacy, and your calling or purpose in life. Now, with this, we have discussed on workshop number 1 the different circles of influence. So we have the inner circle, the middle, and the outer. Wherein yung inner circle, that's the circle that we have the influence the most. We can access anytime, and we have influence over them. Now, from these different circles, we have identified the pain points ng bawat circle na yon. And from those pain points, we looked at the opportunity. And those opportunities, basically, the reason why we identify them, because we have in our arsenal yung assets that we can offer them, that we can provide them. Okay, and this could be our experience, this could be our talent, this could be something tangible that we have that we can convert into something that is value adding. Now, on the third aspect, dito sa first workshop, itong idea, itong opportunity na identify natin, I also requested you guys to classify whether it is something that you are passionate about or this is something that you are doing because you want to earn money. Now, there's nothing wrong kung saan natin i-classify. The only reason that we have discussed that is because if it is our passion, meron tayong fuel, meron tayong engine dun sa motivation. Despite the challenges, despite the risk, tutuloy natin because we enjoy doing it. All right? Unlike if you're doing it for money, medyo tayo, calculated risk tayo dyan. Hindi tayo basta-basta susugod. Okay? Now, that's the reason why we classified that into that para makita lang natin, is this something that we will really plunge in? Or is this something na medyo calculated risk tayo? Okay, so from that first workshop, you're able to identify itong mga ideas na to na nakikita ninyong opportunities that you could provide a solution sa inner circle, sa middle circle, and also do sa outer circle. From there, we move to workshop number 2. Workshop number 2 is more about the business model canvas. And we have our entrepreneur friend, si Richard. Siya yung nag-guide sa atin dito sa business model canvas. In fact, he was also around last Saturday and gave advice dun sa mga initially nagsubmit na nung kanilang worksheet, business model canvas worksheet. Now, going into this workshop, we allowed everybody to participate on this kahit hindi natapos yung first 2 worksheets nila, for the simple reason it's very rare that we have a guest speaker that could equip us to really pursue on something. Okay, so this is a rare opportunity, and we're thankful for Ignite for helping us out in our advocacy. Okay, so that's why I allowed everybody, anybody who is interested can join. But let me qualify this. This is a two-part workshop. So this workshop, basically, Sir Migs will be helping us out to craft on how do we operationalize, so how do we start the ideas that we have. So he will give us the framework. We will work on the process. All right. And then yung lal ng 1 week, that will be the time where we will put our effort dito sa framework na to. And next Saturday, the second part would be si Sir Migs will be listening to us. Hindi na tayo makikinig sa kanya. So I will be choosing some participants today who will be sharing the output, yung ginawa nila out of this workshop. So that will be our process for next Saturday. Okay, paano yung mga hindi pa nakatapos ng worksheets 1 and 2? Now, yung mga gustong tapusin itong buong programa, I will be giving you up to Wednesday next week to work on the first 2 worksheets para makasabay, ano? And reason being, lahat ng magtatapos ng program na ito, we will be building an economic community, a business community, wherein we will try to support each other. Okay? And we will try to somehow sustain or cheer each other para ituluyan o ipagpatuloy itong side gigs na naisip natin. Now, why am I doing that? What is my reason? What is my motivation? I have shared this in the chat group. I have shared this with Aileen and also Miguel. Ang sa akin is I would like to see you guys, HR practitioners, to develop your side gigs para yung inyong daytime job, daytime salary in a year, at 2 years or 3 years, kaya niya ng tapatan or even lagpasan. Now, bakit? As an HR practitioner, the more you move up doon sa ladder, the more that you will be encountering some issues and politics and a lot of gray areas, sometimes unethical and illegal things. And minsan hindi ka makadiskarte pag may pinagagawa sa iyo na hindi kaya-aya. And ang unang consideration mo, saan ko kukunin yung sinesweldo kong ito? Alright? And ang hirap na humanap ng kapalit na trabaho if you're already occupying a higher position, higher responsibility. Much more looking for that replacement amount, that salary. So chances are, you will just cave in doon sa pressure ng top management, which are not necessarily legal and ethical, because you want to save your own ass. You cannot be independent-minded. You cannot be proactive. You cannot stand your ground because, first and foremost, you have to save your source of income because you have a family to support. Now, if this side gig of yours will flourish and katapat na niya yung sweldo mo, then you can always make the right choice and the right decision because you will not be afraid to lose your job. You will not be afraid that your family will be displaced or the standard of living maapektuhan. Okay? That's the first reason. And of course, the second reason, nagkaroon tayo ng pandemic and a lot of HR professionals, sila yung naka no work, no pay ngayon. Sila na yung nasisisi din ng mga employees na hindi pa nakakatanggap ng SBWS, ng camp. And sila din yung nabubunto na ng galit. Bibingka ang HR eh. Mainit sa itaas, mainit sa ibaba. So may tutong tayo sa ilalim, meron din tayong tutong sa ibabaw. Okay? And sometimes it's hard to be empowered. If you know you badly needed the job. Okay, so if you develop the side gig, then you will be able to protect your family, protect yourself during hard times. All right. Now, I have shared with in our closest spaces the flow of this whole program. So after Sir Mig's sessions today and next Saturday, we will have a solopreneurship panel discussion. So what is that about? We have invited some HR professionals currently employed, but they are also into business. Merong isang nagmamanage ng coffee shop somewhere in Cebu. Merong isa na while being head of HR, meron siyang payment center, meron siyang salon and spa, meron siyang mini manufacturing ng mga mushroom chips na ine-export sa Middle East. We have another HR practitioner na nakabili siya ng condo while still studying dahil doon sa kanyang mga racket. Okay? And up to now, continuous pa rin yung kanyang business. We have another HR practitioner na ngayon nagmamanage na siya ng parang similar to Grab or Lala Move. Okay? Binili niya yung she used to be an employer of that startup, pero yung startup dahil hindi niya to passion, this is just one of the investment. So nung malaki na yung losses, tumiklop. Now, itong HR na to, inabsorb niya. Nakipag-negotiate siya. Okay, nakipag-X deal. So right now, it is flourishing and she is now the COO of that operations. Okay, so we have several examples na living examples na kung gugustuhin, kaya at saka pwede. We can keep our daytime jobs and at the same time, we can pursue our side gigs. And pag ito ay lumaki, then doon ka ngayon, you will have to cross the bridge whether you want to manage it remotely and hire employees to manage your business and keep your daytime job, or quit your daytime job and pursue flourishing your business. Okay, so that will be the session after MIGS 2 session. And the last track for this HR entrepreneurship is about government regulation. So dito, pag-uusapan naman natin which path you will pursue. Sole proprietor, solo corporation, magkakaroon ka ba ng virtual office o gusto mo magkaroon ng physical office? What about documentation? What about BIR, official receipt and invoices? Or you want to keep your this gig economy na under the radar, kumbaga side gig lang talaga siya. So those are the different options that we will discuss dun sa last track. And then after that, we will be giving you the certificate and kung sino yung nagtapos up to the very end. And that will be the economic community of HR entrepreneurs. And we will sustain the support and the encouragement of each other. We have some friends na entrepreneurs na who will be on board on that group para assistan at tulungan yung bawat isa on how to go through the day-to-day operations ng kanilang side gig. All right. So that is the whole framework of this program. And again, the reason why I am pursuing HR entrepreneurship is to make the HR professionals empowered so that they can make decisions according to their conviction, according to what is right, and that they cannot be controlled by top management. They are supposed to be partners and not slaves. And unfortunately, but because some HR professionals are too much immersed on the four walls of the corporate office, hindi nila nakikita yon. Nakikita lang nila is survival because they need and they wanted the job. Okay, so that is the brief, my brief introduction. So thank you very much, people, for this session, and thanks for Ignite, the people behind Ignite, si Aileen, and our resource person, si Migs, for giving us this time and this opportunity to equip us with a framework. This is a workshop and not just a webinar. Kung siseryosohin natin to, sabi nga ni Migs, yung output natin dito sa session na to will be a living document. That is something that we will have to go back, redo everything, redo every week, every month to see whether nag-a-adapt ba tayo dun sa situation. This tool, this workshop, will eventually help us and change our career if we will be serious. So that's why I'm encouraging you to go back to the first two workshops. Kung isa lang to sa mga gusto natin ma-acquire na knowledge base, then it will not be value adding. But if we will embrace this and do this and apply this, and this is something that could help our professional and financial growth. I think I have to shut my mouth. I've been talking too much. So Aileen, can you take over? Otherwise, I will continue talking.
Thank you, Sir Sonny. I wanna actually, I'm just gonna be a conduit. I'm going to introduce the facilitator for this afternoon, and he's probably gonna introduce himself. Ganun kasi kami sa Ignite. We're very casual about this. So please welcome our innovation head, Miguel. Miguel, please introduce yourself to the rest of my fellow HR professionals.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, Sir Sunny. It's great to be here. Hello to everyone. You can hear me fine?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. Okay, yeah. So, I guess just a quick introduction, really. I'm Miguel Aranas. I'm a managing partner in Ignite House of Innovation. My specialty is actually um, innovation and customer centricity, I guess, project. That's actually not really my expertise. It's really my passion. I'm a human-centered designer at the very heart of what I do. Um, I treat everything that I do as a design problem. Everything for me is something that can be solved by deeply anchoring it on the needs of your customer, or on the needs of human beings, and using that to spur action through rapid prototyping. And so that's one thing we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing today, um, based on my talk with Sir Sunny. Figuring out how to, I guess, take that idea and make it a reality, and how to make it tangible. And you've actually already you've taken the first step with the business model canvas. That's the a business model canvas over the last, I think, about 10 years. It's been a very important tool in innovation, in coming up, in bringing new businesses to light. Um, I Before I joined Ignite, I was a teacher also as well. It's one of the many hats I wore. So as a teacher, I use something similar to the business model canvas in order to help my students bring ideas from, you know, from it, from an idea form all the way to launching it in the market. My class was specifically around launching new projects, new ideas to market. Um, oh, I just want to stress, if you want to clarify anything, feel free to post your questions on the chat box. Then we'll definitely go back to it later on. So there. Also, I guess after hearing what Sir Sunny shared, um, you know, uh, naturally, rocketeer rin talaga ako. I'm into a lot of businesses. Even being in Ignite, I still have a bunch of like businesses that I'm part of. So my family's in fashion. We make handbags. So we'll be doing it for well, my sister and I have been doing it for about 20 plus years already. I also have a barbershop and the tailoring thing. And we're all born out of that, realizing that, you know, having one revenue stream or one income stream doesn't really give you that type of freedom that you want in order to do your best work as well. So similar to what Sir Sunny sharing, I totally get where he's coming from, and I've seen how just trying to be more entrepreneurial, has empowered myself as well. So just to map things out for you, the focus will start off today from your business model canvases. If you don't have a business model canvas, I think I'll present the slide, okay, and I probably want you guys just to give a crack at it. So Sunny, around how many people have business model canvases? Would we know? Would we have a
Roughly around 10.
around 10?
One
Okay,
third,
sige.
one third of the participants.
Okay, sige. So we'll focus on that, but at the same time, let's make all the participants try that out as well. I'll explain it in its simplest form, or, and then it's good to just participate in this. I'll be honest, I only started doing webcasts because of the pandemic. I've done tons and tons of workshops already, and so a lot of my workshops are very experiential. So I do want you guys to be doing stuff Okay, so I hope you can all participate. It might be good to have maybe some a pen and paper, perhaps. That would be cool. Okay. At some point in the next hour, we'll probably have you guys show show some things that you'll be sketching on your video camera, on your webcam. So hopefully all of you can like participate. So without further ado, I'm gonna show a screen. Give me a second. Okay. Okay. So this is the business model canvas. All right. Why has this format or this this framework, it's gotten really popular over the last few years? Because for a lot of startups, it gives you a visual representation of what your business is and where it is. So if we look at the different areas in this canvas, okay, so we have everything from key partners to key activities, what are the things that your business is doing, key resources, the value propositions. I mean, what is the essence of your business? Customer relationships. Okay, so what type of relationships are you having with your customers? Channels, customer segments, the cost structure, and like revenue streams. Now, so about 10 of you have like filled this in, right? So what I want you to do now, okay, based on what you have, based on what you're seeing in your screen, think of a business idea. It doesn't have to be a good business idea, but think of a business idea, all right, and try and fill this in based on that business idea. For example, what do you call this? Let's see if your business is let's use my example. Business is a barber shop. Okay, so if I have a barber shop, okay, I'd probably list down one key partner. Okay, so maybe a key partner would be, maybe my shampoo, my shampoo supplier, or maybe, you know, maybe somebody that can supply me cheap chairs or things like that. But these are some of the key partnerships, some key activities. Okay, I'd probably be looking at, okay, maybe certain, how do I make money? Maybe I make money from giving haircuts. That's my key, that's my key revenue stream. Key, key resources, some value propositions. Basically, I just want you guys to try to fill it up. Give you maybe just about 3 minutes. Do not overthink this, okay? And I will stress why it's important not to overthink this, okay? Again, we're not trying to get it right. We're just trying to get it done. So think of any business, kahit na you're not sure about that business, and then try to map it out in this business model canvas. I don't know if you can see can you guys see like the text over here? Is it readable?
Not so much.
Not so much, though.
Yeah, so maybe you could just give them like brief
Yeah.
definitions of what these are, so it's a lot
Sige,
easier for them to kind of like.
Yeah, so here, what do you call this? Key partners are, okay, basically, who are some key suppliers? Ganito, just to manage the information, based on your business idea, who is a key supplier? Yun na lang muna. Okay, so key activities, okay? You probably put here, what is the key distribution channel, maybe? Okay. Your value propositions, okay? What is the essence of your business? For example, if it's a barbershop, it's be able to give men a sense of confidence or something like that. I'm totally just making this up right now. Key resources, okay? So what are some of the distribution channels, revenue streams, customer relationships, basically what type of so maybe you have relationships busy with busy like office workers. Yung channels naman, okay, probably look at the sales channel. So if your business is going to be like a home bake shop, maybe a channel is um, Instagram, something like that. Customer segments, okay, so do you if you like for example me, it's a barber shop, then my customer segment would probably be something around um, you know what do you call this, men in particular, maybe busy men. Cost structure basically are what are the different costs involved. So in my case, rent of a barber shop, the salaries of my barbers, things like that. Revenue streams is, in this case, it's a transactional revenue stream, meaning if you get a haircut, I get paid for it. So let's spend maybe 2 3 minutes. I'll leave this here on the screen, okay? Again, it's not about getting it right. It's just about trying it out, okay? And we'll talk about a bit about this framework, okay? And I want to hear from you guys after. Okay, so 3 minutes. We can put a timer there. I'll just give you guys updates on the time. Okay, 3 minutes. Start now. Again, don't overthink this. Hindi to right or wrong. Okay, 2 minutes. One minute. Twenty seconds. Okay, time is up. Okay, so I'd like to hear from you. Can you share um, a, Ano tong question? Sir Miguel, can we have a copy of this form? Yes, Sir Sunny, you can give them a copy of the business model canvas.
It's already in the on the GC on the group chat.
Okay, all right, perfect. Then okay, so I just want to hear from the audience. After trying it out, after filling it in, why do you think this canvas is important in like launching a new business? You can unmute your mics, or if you want to share it in the chat, we can definitely do that as well. Anyone want to share? Don't be scared. Here, those that have, okay, here, Pauline, sure. You can just unmute your mic.
Hello.
Pauline, Camille, yes.
Hello, sir.
Hello, yes.
I'll try po. Bale,
Okay.
the exercise gave us a framework where to start because some of us, kung magsa-start ng business, we don't know where to start. So,
Mhm. Sorry, what was that again? Pauline, it gave you a
hello.
framework. Yes. Mhm.
Sir, yung
Mhm.
importance po ng exercise kanina is it gave us a framework where to start. Kasi
Okay.
some of us, we
Mhm.
want to start a business, but we don't know where to start.
Okay. Well, a lot of the times when you start a business, kasi, the usual thing to do is to try and maybe you'll start from a price. So you start costing things down. You maybe on a piece of napkin, you say, magkano kaya kikitain ko dito? Diba? Mga ganyan. So parang, that's a good point. What we have to realize is that when we use something like a business model canvas, it actually acts as your first prototype of your business. It's that germ of an idea. It is a you get to see the scope of what it could possibly be. So that's a very good point to stress. It is something that you know it it's basically version one of what it could be. It's probably at 1% of what it could be as well. Si Ms. Letty Perez says that it gives us an overview of what we want to do. So it definitely does. And that's the thing also. Sometimes it's best to when I use business model canvas or any similar frameworks, the teams I work with, we usually have a large version of this. We make it in using like Manila paper. And what it does, it creates um, this visual representation of what your business is. It's something that you see every day. It's something maybe like you load it on your laptop. You can make it your wallpaper if you want to. Let's say since a lot of this will be side hustles for all of you, um, but just seeing it visually there helps you move things forward. Can we hear from is this Lovey Nell Avila Avilarmino? Love.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, you wanted to
Um,
share? Mhm.
yes, my take on the short, parang exercise po siya, sir, no? It
Mhm.
gave us an overview of what to consider
Mhm.
when we want to put up or start a business. Most of the
Mhm.
time kasi, sir, napansin ko lang, when we want to start something, not necessarily business or anything that we want to do in life, there's a tendency that we would be overwhelmed with the things that we need
Yes, yes,
to
that's a
consider
good point.
With this, parang nagkaroon tayo ng outline where to start, what things to consider, and paano tayo magpo-proceed dun sa pag-start ng business na gusto natin.
Okay, yes. So very good point also. It's definitely again a starting point. It gives you an idea na kakayanin ba to o hindi. A lot of the times we have ideas that we don't realize that if we just write it down, it actually makes sense to try to pursue it. Versus sometimes na may mga idea tayo na parang um, you know sinasabi natin hindi natin kaya, pero kung sinulat mo as a business model canvas, makikita pala, ay, kaya pala to. So it's definitely, it's a way to also give you, I'm telling you, as an entrepreneur, that act of just writing down that, that business idea, um, it's just, it gives a level of commitment already to what you want to do. So ito si Letty Perez, it is like a mini business plan. Yes, it actually is a business plan. But there's something about this business plan, and which is my next point really. So Sonny mentioned it a while ago, right? I said that the business model the business model canvas is actually a living document. And what do you mean by that? Meaning it's just something that you can keep on iterating and improving on and modifying as you're experimenting around it, as you're learning by showing early prototypes of your business idea to people. And that's something we're going to tackle today. How do we look at these different areas of the business model canvas, and use things around questioning, prototyping, and feedback, so that it leads us to this. It builds us confidence even before you have to invest any form of money. I'm telling you, a lot of people think that in order to set up a business, you need to invest money initially. That's not true. Using tools like the business model canvas allows you to test, to be intentional, to use feedback and data to see whether this business is feasible or not, with hardly spending anything. So I want to show another slide right now. Give me a second. Okay, so again, this is a living document, meaning it's constantly evolving. Okay, so since it's constantly evolving, we need to find that parang ano yung steps in order for us to improve on this, to iterate it, okay, to refine your business model. So I want to introduce this idea, which I call the experiment diamond. What does this mean? It's basically it's this rhythm and cadence that you follow whenever you need to run experiments around the different aspects of the business model canvas. So let me just explain. The first one is Q. Okay, Q basically is ask a question. Every time you look at your business model canvas and you focus on a certain area, you don't start with the idea. You always start with a question. Why? The thing with questions is that it actually allows us to the thing with questions is that it gives us intentionality with what we're trying to solve. Okay? That you are because you're trying to answer some questions or solve some problems, the prototypes you are creating later on specifically try to answer that question or not. A lot of the times we'll go straight into just coming up with an idea without thinking of what exactly are we trying to learn or solve here. And there's this saying that in innovation, the most basic unit of exploration is actually not the idea, but it's the question. So that's something that you need to understand and why it's very important. Think of it this way: you can't solve anything if you first don't ask that question. So I'll show you how it pans out in a bit. So once you've established that question, you now run an experiment. Now, if you notice this, this little diamond, it parang spreads out. If you notice, it's like, the arrows are like spreading out. Why? In order to come up with an experiment, you need to think of a lot of ideas. So kung mag-brainstorm ka ng mga ideas that try to answer the question, ika nga sa Itbulaga, okay, the more entries you send, the more chances of winning. So that's the mindset that you have to take on. That's why it opens up that way. Now, once you run an experiment, okay, meaning an experiment basically involves knowing what you're trying to solve, ano ba yung parang question or even a hypothesis that I'm trying to solve, and then what now is my prototype, okay? I'll show you some examples of like prototypes later on, and we'll try making a prototype as well. Then after that, once we prototype ka, it's time now to get feedback. And if you notice, the arrows now start going, they're like funneling towards getting feedback. Why? Once you've come up with a bunch of experiments, or maybe like you pick three top ideas from what you brainstorm, and I want to test all three of these ideas to get feedback. It's actually about now focusing and funneling. So why am I showing you this experiment diamond? Because it's a business model canvas. Okay. Sorry. The business model canvas, you have to look at each aspect of it as something that you can run these experiment diamonds on. For example, you can create experiments to test your cost structure. So how do I do that? Sometimes I will just ask people, if I charge you 50 pesos for this, will you buy it? If I charge you 100 pesos for this, will you buy it? If I charge you a million pesos for this, will you buy it? Those are simple experiments that that give you feedback on certain cost structures. For customer segments, I might want to, I might have maybe I'll post a photo on like Instagram. If my idea is baked goods, is a cakes. Okay, so I'll post a photo of a cake on Instagram, and then I can maybe see how many of my friends like this or not. It gives you a general idea of running these little experiments. It helps give you data that's intentional and directed at certain areas of the business model canvas. What happens a lot kasi is that we try to create a prototype and experiment for the whole business, for the whole thing, that when we're testing, walang focus. Hindi natin alam kung what are we trying to solve. The thing is, if you want to build a business, you have to be able to run experiments for each of these elements and test it, and use that data to inform you on what are the next steps I should be doing. That's what experiments are all about, naman. It gives you direction on what you should do next. Okay, so let me just go back. Do you have any questions about that? Anyone want to clarify around that? Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on. So again, QEF. That's a concept that we need to like understand now.
Miguel, you have a question from the audience.
Okay, sure. Yes. Oh, how many experiment diamonds can you run simultaneously? As much as you can manage. One thing you have to realize is that sometimes things like surveys can act like prototypes. Sometimes it could be like maybe like a poster of your business idea. Sometimes it could be something you build with a bunch of school materials. You start showing it to people. Of course, right now one of the challenges is like doing this within the context of like a pandemic. So there's no set number. I think what I like to do is that I like writing a lot of questions around the different aspects of the business model canvas, and ira-rank yan na parang okay. I want to find out more about my first top 5 questions. So each question has a corresponding experiment diamond, and then from there I will just create a prototype, show it to people. So it's really there. It's really about being able to. Also when you're testing simultaneously, that's even better because the richness of data that you're gathering from different diamonds sometimes answers some of the other questions. That are in the priorities of yours. So I hope I answered that. I'm gonna go back. So we're gonna do a little activity. Can you all bring out like a piece of paper? Or just something to write on, I mean. Okay, so let's look at the aspect of asking a question. Okay, why is this important when you're trying to innovate? Okay, so um, this is a little social experiment that I love doing now. This is going to entail you guys showing what you're about to sketch on your screen. So, King, is it possible to maybe do like a tiled view? In a bit, I'll just show my screen. Or how do I do a tiled view? Pala? Wait. Okay, so here's what I want you guys to do. Um, we're going to do something called the Sunset Challenge. Okay, so it shows how subtle shifts can unlock more creative ways of thinking. So I want all of you to grab a piece of paper and the Sharpie. Okay, so I'll give you 1 minute. Okay, um, what I want you to do is to draw a sunset. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes to do this. Actually, more of 1 minute. On that piece of paper, draw a sunset. In this case, wala tayong whiteboard. So what I want us to do when you're done drawing it, put it in front of your webcam, turn on your webcam, tapos titingnan natin yung mga different sketches niyo. Okay? Okay? So 2 minutes, please do that. Draw a sunset. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so okay, for the next part, can I request you first to maybe unmute your mics, everyone? Here's what we're gonna do, okay? Um, okay. Um, so I asked you to draw a sunset. Okay. If you drew a horizon line, can you say yes, everyone? If you drew a horizon line in your sunset, can you say yes, please? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so,
Yes.
okay, all right. Next, who if you drew a tree? Wala.
No.
None. Oh, okay. Who if you drew water?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Who if you drew birds?
Yes.
I did.
Okay.
I
Okay.
did.
So two, three. All
Yes.
right. Who if you drew sun rays?
I did. Yes.
I did.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and okay. Thank you. You can put your mics on mute. Thank you. Okay. So, um, most of the time, all right. Actually, I would say 99% of the time that I run this little experiment, horizon line, water, and sun rays are always the top three. And why is that? In fact, what you guys drew probably looks something like this. Okay, so here's what I want everyone to do. Look at this. Can you please put your sketch on top of your camera and turn on your video? I want to see what you guys drew.
Ito ko lang. Ay, ganun may sunset na.
Sorry, can I see? Okay, so can you turn on your cameras? Just put your sketch on top of. For those that drew, can you just show it? Sorry, I'm totally. This is the first time I'm running this online, so I'm trying to figure. Can we see? Anyone want to share their sketch? No one wants to share.
Ara is showing hers. Ara is showing hers.
Why can't I see?
Yeah, it's Ara Reyes. You
Okay,
can.
wait. Yeah. Oh wait, sorry. I should stop sharing. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Can you see it now, all of them, Miguel?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see.
Naka-tile. Are you on tile view?
I'm what? Yeah. No, I see. So actually, okay. Yep. Yep. I'm seeing. All right. Ba? May kulay pa yung mga iba. Okay, so can you guys grab another piece of paper? All right. Can you grab another piece of paper? Now, here's what I want you to do next. Okay, so now here's what I want you to do. Can you draw a specific sunset you saw most recently? I'll give you 1 minute again. Okay, so think of the last sunset you saw. Alam ko naka-GCQ tayo, naka-ECQ tayo, so malamang puro sa bahay. So think pre-ECQ, what was the last sunset you saw? You saw. I'll give you 1 minute to sketch that. Okay. So think of the last sunset you saw most recently. So now, most of you, if before, this is what most people usually draw when they answer draw a sunset. But when I ask them now, draw a specific sunset you saw most recently, this is actually what they come up with. Okay, a little bit more. What do you notice from this, like, this group of like images as compared to the first one? Anyone want to answer? You can just unmute your mic. What is the difference between this and this? Anyone? So, if you notice,
Love
yes,
is it's realistic. Sabi niya sa chat. It's
okay, it's more realistic. Sorry, I can't hear anything. Oh, wait. Okay, it's more realistic. What else? Just a general look of this. What is now? If you notice, it's just a little bit more detailed as compared to this. Now, every time we run this experiment, okay, there's something we want you guys to realize. Okay, that if you're asking generic questions, you will get generic answers. But if you add context and reframe the questions that you're asking, it will lead to a broader spectrum of ideas. So as you have seen in the visual, okay, when I ask you draw a sunset, puro generic yung mga drawing nyo. It's things I can actually guess. But when I just changed the question and added some context, I asked you already, okay, what was the last sunset you saw most recently? It actually shifts and actually makes you more creative. So in order for you, though, to reframe questions, you need insights. And to get to insights, you need to be compassionate, all right? And what do we mean by being compassionate? It's really, realizing that problem solving is all about connecting. Okay, it's all about connecting to your customers, your stakeholders, all right, and seeing I mean, understanding deeply what their needs are. We like to say in Ignite, we we strive to fall in love with the problem. What is the relevance of this for for all of you? So for all of you, as you're setting up your businesses, a crucial tip that I need to give you is that you need to fall in love with what you're trying to solve for. Yes, there's a financial aspect to things, but if you really want this, to work, you have to you have to be you, you have to allow yourself to connect with the people you want to serve, to your market, to your customers. And by doing that, it does allow you to really first and foremost stick it out. Because I'm sure Sir Sunny can tell you that being an entrepreneur is very, very hard. I mean, in terms of just trying to set things up, especially kung magiging side hustle yung business na gagawin nyo, you have to be able to, I guess, grit it out. So, um, so questions, being in love with that question, wanting to solve that question, is is an important part of, I guess, setting up a business. It's also that starting point that allows you to explore different, more creative ways of running your business. Now, what is the next point over here? So, um, okay, so let's now go into an experiment. Okay, so once you have a question, pwede ka na mag-isip ng mga ideas. So pwede kayo mag-brainstorm, you can brainstorm around a bunch of ideas. Then now it's time to think of an experiment. Again, an experiment is not just coming up with a prototype. It's really, okay, because you're asking a question, what then are you trying to solve? And then what type of prototype can help me answer that question? Here are some examples. Oops, sorry. I'm going to show you a quick video. Let me know if you can hear it.
Oh, hi. Oh, Elmo will show you how to make your very own monster. Oh, it's easy. Just use your finger. Watch Elmo.
So, are you catching that? Are you catching that video? Keng, Eileen, you see the video?
Yep. They can hear me.
Yeah. All
Yep.
right. So, what do you call this? So, the thing with this video is that, okay, you're probably thinking, this is the application. All right. How do I prototype something like this? Do I need to like learn coding and things like that? And one thing I want to stress when you're prototyping and experimenting, it's important that you keep it simple. Okay. We like to say it has to be rough. Okay. It has to be reasonable as well. When we say rough, I usually use school materials to build prototypes. When I say reasonable, I set a budget. Every stage of my prototype has to be maybe 200, has to cost me 200 pesos. All right. And it also has to be, what do you call this? It also has to be rapid. It has to be something that you can do easily as well. So um, this app, it's called Elmo's Monster Maker, and it was created, all right, for kids. But instead of coming up with this fancy prototype, okay, they actually, it wasn't anything digital, but they came up with this idea to test what Monster Maker was about. So let me just play it a little bit more.
All you have to do is touch your monster's face and give it to Mommy.
So if you notice it, okay, so when you press on it, okay, you get all these things happening there. So let me just see. So this is actually how the team prototyped it. Okay, so I want to hear from you. When you hear the word prototype, what comes to mind? Anyone want to share? Okay, Lovely saying it's a sample. Okay, okay, it's definitely a sample. It's a model, a sample product. But okay, Letty, can you maybe expound on this? Could you maybe unmute your mic? And when you're saying that it's raw still, what do you mean by that?
Well, I would say it's something that still needs some more improvement. It's your first
Okay,
try at doing something so that
okay,
you can see whether it is doable or could be done. But you also realize that there are still many things that you can do to bring it to what you really want.
okay. So, that's those are some great points, Letty. I guess if there's anything like um, it's your business model canvas. Its initial its initial form is your probably that's your first prototype. You can show this to people and and get feedback around it. So I'm reading some of the other answers. It entails a lot of trial and error. Definitely, what we have to realize with the prototype is that um, it can't be polished. I gave a talk in a product design conference about 4 years ago, and when I was telling them that you should be able to prototype things, there was a big like gasp in the in the conference. I'm like, why the reaction? And for a product designer, what happens is um, a prototype for them is something that that's pretty polished, that's pretty finished. Okay, so what do you call this? It's really a lot of people have to be okay with showing things that look bad. One thing I've learned doing using prototyping in Ignite, we use a lot of prototyping. Like Eileen and Ken can see we rapidly build prototypes, simple prototypes of our ideas, whether it's a new product, it's a digital service. We find ways to actually bring a version of that, and then we bring this to people to show it to them. So um, one thing also we have to note, when you're showing people stuff that look unfinished, things that look, well, like they were made, it looked like a kindergarten student made it. Okay. Um, what do you call this? There's value to that. People naturally want to help you if you show them something that looks bad. There's this natural tendency for them to want to give you feedback and say, maybe this is how you can improve that or not. So thank you for those sharing your answers. Okay, so it's a trial product, but you kind of have to qualify the idea of product. Okay, it's actually it's just an idea made tangible in a very simple form. I think by adding constraints, my general rule is when we're doing early prototyping is I can only use school materials. I can't use anything fancy. I can't bring it to a craftsman to parang shape it for me. But I look for ways how can I only use school materials in order to create a prototype that makes my idea tangible to my potential market. Okay, so thank you for your answers. Okay, I'm gonna go now to the next point of prototyping. Then, oh, sorry, I now have a little activity. I'm just curious, how many of those that have filled up your business model canvas, the 10 people, may I have maybe one volunteer just to share what their idea is, if it's okay? Just one volunteer. Sir Sonny, can you maybe help me?
Um, Mikai, can you share your idea if you're willing?
Yes, and just really, I just to anchor everything that we're doing, because I'm gonna have a little activity for everyone to do.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi,
Hello,
Mika.
sir?
Yes.
Ay, narinig po ba ako?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. So, well, basically, my idea, or my business idea, it's matching of the needs of those single moms or working
Okay.
moms with their needs on their housekeeping works, like
Mhm.
clean the house. Diba? Usually
Okay.
kasi mothers are so busy, especially working moms.
Mhm.
So when they went home, sometimes, diba, yung pagpasok sa bahay, messy na and all. So,
Mhm.
kailangan pa niyang mag-ayos everything.
Mag-aayos ka. Okay.
Tapos, magluluto pa and all. Or kung minsan, do the laundry. Yung ganon.
Mhm.
So, yung business idea ko po is to match the need. Let's say kung
Mhm.
yung parang on call na service, housekeeping
Okay.
services. Oo, na
So, is your idea ano siya, application or
yes, parang magde-develop ng web app
Mhm. So for mga let's
and
say
then
mga single
magsuserve
mom, mga working moms that don't
working
have
moms,
time
single
basically
moms, or even
to do a lot
siguro
of the
mga
chores.
single na parang busy talaga sa work.
Okay. Sige. So, offhand, how would you prototype that? Knowing
Hello,
na
sir.
na
Ano po yan?
yes. How would you prototype that idea?
Siguro, kasi
Sige
we're
lang, okay
learning
lang.
plan the prototype. Siguro
Oo.
parang I'm not yet sure, no? Pero parang I'll draw it na something na there is a parang web app, ang tawag nito, parang icon
Okay.
siya na ito yung needs ng need ng client, ito yung web app na needed, ito yung parang qualified na provide ng service doon sa need nung client.
Okay, so let's say at this point you'd probably you'd maybe on a piece of paper just try to show what it's about, I guess. Am I following right?
Parang yun na muna
Okay.
initially.
Sige. So that actually is in line with one of my favorite ways of like doing prototypes, and this has been proven to be a very effective way to gather data and give you more confidence on what direction to take your business idea. So, call this. I'm going to show something again. Thank you, Mikai, for sharing that.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, so, oops, let me just go back. Okay, so here's what I always do when I have a new idea and I don't know if I should pursue it or not. I create a fake ad. In this age of fake news, fake ads are actually very, very important. And why? Because even before you spend a lot of money, especially now with mediums like Facebook, with platforms like Facebook or Instagram, you can actually see what people are gravitating towards to or not for pretty much almost zero cost. Okay, for example, I follow this simple format wherein I put in the solution name. So let's say for Mikai's app, let's say it's we can call the app um, Homebody. Let's just say Homebody. Okay, I'll think of a catchy headline for it. I look for a photo Okay, I might lay this out on like Microsoft Word, or sometimes I know some people that will just draw it and sketch it. Ano yung call to action mo for this? And then a sentence that describes your idea's value. So on a piece of bond paper, you can actually put this. What, or sometimes you can even craft this inside maybe Facebook. I would show this to people sometimes. I would email it to people. But if I want to automate it a bit, I'd probably find someone. I'd use tools like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Canva. It's a free application that allows you to, to create posters, ads, and things like that just by filling in. You don't need to know Photoshop and all these
That was
like
cool.
what's that?
No, I said it's cool. Yung Canva.
Yung Canva, yes. Oh, it's very, very useful. And I like using that kasi hindi mo naiisipin eh, mag-fill in the blanks ka na lang eh. But, just by creating a fake ad. Now, the thing about the fake ad is that you can test different aspects of your business model canvas. For example, I'll make versions na yung catchy headline ko is my idea is for free, or I'll charge 100 pesos for this, or I'll charge 1,000 pesos for that. So I get to test different aspects of my business model canvas. For example, yung headline, if you know that your customer segment is male, how do I change the language to be more male-centric? Or how do I test this naman for like women? And if you're noticing, you're not really spending much on anything, but by using the business model canvas and understanding, if I want to test my revenue stream or my cost structure, or if I want to test things around, you know, around other aspects of my business model canvas, just by creating fake ads, all right, and focusing on what you want to learn, it allows you then, to gather data that again will help you moving forward. Okay, so I just go to the last part, then we can open up for questions. Okay, so again, here's our experiment diamond. Ask a question, run an experiment, and get feedback. Now, feedback is very important because after you get feedback, as you're getting feedback, actually, new questions will arise. And when new questions arise, it means that you can run new experiments. And you see this cycle of, going from question to experiment to feedback, and it goes round and round, okay? And the thing about when you're about to set up a business, you have to be okay with doing cycles of this questioning, of this experimenting, of getting feedback. And in order to fuel the innovation engine, okay, feedback, I use a very simple format in order to do this. Okay, so it's actually called I like, I wish, what if. You can take a screenshot of this if you want to. But basically, it works on the premise that when you're showing your fake ad, okay, and you're getting some people giving you feedback, you always have to ask them what they like about it, okay, what they wish, how they could improve it, and then what if, what are some suggestions, okay? If you notice about the format, I didn't say I like and I don't like. The reason we use I wish is because it's a more positive, um, way of getting feedback. It uses well, positive, what's the term? Well, more constructive criticism in that sense. What if also makes you very proactive. So hindi ka lang yung tipong um, uh, you'll just be criticizing the whole time tapos wala ka naman maibibigay na suggestions. So this format forces the person that's giving you feedback to say something good about it, to say something that that they feel needs improvement, and then suggest how this can actually happen. Okay, so let me just go back. Okay, so do we have any questions right now? I want to open the floor in terms of like your question and fake ad. Okay? So you can actually run the ad I've used Facebook a lot. Like I use Facebook a lot to because the thing with Facebook, you can even promote it and look for specific, maybe spend. I think the minimum spends like what, 60 pesos, I think. But basically, you can specify who are the potential clients or customers that can, use it. So you should actually run the ad. Um, Given this time of like pandemic, because of like social distancing, we we really have to use this digital form. If you want, you can even do it via email. If you have a group, hell, you can even use Viber. Viber, have people reply, tell them, okay, when you give me feedback, use the I like, I wish, what if format. That kung magre-reply sila sa Viber based on what they're seeing, please use this format. What do you like about it? And then if you find anything interesting from the feedback that you're getting, call that specific person and dig deeper and ask them, why did you say you like this? Why did you wish that I could have done this better? Or why are you suggesting this? Because it stokes this conversation and again gives you more data points to to move your idea forward. But the thing with fake ads is that it's a cheap, easy way to get some really, really rich data. A lot of my students swear by fake ads. They would create fake events. Like another version of this is on Facebook. Create a fake, like a fake event. See what type of people would get. I had a team before that was working on a social gaming app, and in order to test, the question they asked themselves was, well, do gamers want to socialize? So with that question, they said, what experiment can we create now? So what they said, okay, if we create a event on Facebook, let's see how many people say that they're going. So they created a fake event called the Gamers Eyeball Social Event. And in 3 days, they got 3,000 people that replied that said that, hey, I would like to go. And that actually gave them confidence in saying, wow, 3,000 people in 3 days said they were going to go to this fake event. Now, you're probably wondering, like, shouldn't we be wary about sending all this fake data or these fake ads? Well, you should, for people that are replying, you should be able to tell them after the fact that you were just running a bunch of experiments and you're just testing and trying to gain more data. So as long as you're not asking them for money or things like that, or selling them actual things, then we haven't really encountered any problems with that. Over the last 4 or 5 years that I've been doing this. So Luan, thanks for your question. The thing with your second question, if not, do you show it to potential clients and customers? I think the best is to be able to show it to some potential clients and get their feedback from there. Whichever way you can do that digitally or following, social distancing like protocols. Again, email becomes important. Maybe showing a screen like this on a Google Meet or Zoom. You can use Viber, WhatsApp. There are also other ways to do like prototyping digitally, although it does entail some level of like art skills. So like for us in Ignite, we are creating an app. As we're creating an app, we create digital versions that people can interact with without really coding it. So it does give us feedback that way as well. Do we have any more questions? Any questions around questioning? Any questions around using fake ads, prototyping, experimenting? Anything? Any questions? Sunny, do you have any questions?
How could we guide them, especially this diamond, So,
Yes.
they will be going back doon sa kanilang business canvas.
Mm-hmm.
So, you are suggesting na on each process, on each box, they will be going from, they will redo the diamond process in each step.
Um, Here, I'll show the business model canvas again, then I'll explain from that context. Okay, for example, if you use a fake ad, you can actually already test things like revenue streams. For example, I'd maybe create 3 versions of the fake ad with like different price points. And then let's say the language and like tonality. What are the different customer segments? So parang if you want one ad to be male centric, another female centric, another family centric, you can just use that same fake ad, uh, parang format, and then test different aspects of this. If let's say you you have a supplier that can bring you imported raw materials. What if you put that in the ad na parang okay, made from raw materials in from let's say from the US. See how people and then create an ad na parang proudly Filipino made, or you get to test all these different aspects that give you more data around your business model canvas. Kasi a lot of the times, we'll create prototypes that are trying to answer everything. But by focusing on certain aspects, by being intentional, by using tools like Canva that will allow you to create fake ads and posters easily, you can test different aspects of it. It may seem like a lot of work, but it's actually not, in the sense that once you get into the groove of doing it, the richness of data you get will give you more confidence. And I think that's the important part of all of this. When you're setting up a business, um, you just you need that assurance in order to manage risk. Because setting up any new business has all these risks, and by experimenting, by using the experiment diamond against your business model canvas, you're actually being very intentional and scientific with the process. Kesa yung mga halabira na lang na parang ito yung gut feel ko kasi ito yung feel ko lang. Most of the time, people that don't react to data that they're getting in and are sticking to what their gut is telling them, chamba na lang talaga yung mga businesses that fly because of that. And that's easily maybe a 2-3%, you know, of all businesses that are being set up. So did I answer your question, Sandy?
Yeah, you have a question.
Okay,
Yes, okay
let
na.
me
We have questions sa chat.
From Chi.
okay. Let me check. Okay.
Your question is, if you got
Okay.
the attention of potential client
Mm-hmm.
ad, how do you take action if you're not ready to accommodate it?
Chini, what do you mean by take action? Like meaning you're gonna sell something, or just what to do in terms of like telling them that it's a fake ad. If it's a matter of like telling them that okay, and that you're not ready to accommodate them, that example I gave of that team making that social gaming app, after the first week of having that ad out, the event ad, they just placed on the event page that they ran a little experiment. They were trying to gather data on like how many people would actually want to go. If you'd want to remain interested in this, then we can reach out to you. But if not, thank you for being able to participate. It's actually important. What do you call this? It's actually important to be able to not tell them initially that they're being tested, because you want to get a authentic answer from them. So one of the key things of prototyping is being able to bring yourself into the world of what you want your customer to experience. So you give them that mindset. All right, and it's usually just being able to manage that aspect of things. Uh, Send them, if they get a little pissed for something, then just I just send an apology. But the reality is that you are testing, you are trying to bring something to market, and you want to be able to get data that really informs well yourself, but at the same time allows you to create a business that makes sense for your market. So this is actually done a lot. A a lot of us don't realize that, let's say on like Google Ads, there are a lot of ads on Google that are actually they're trying to measure what you click through, what your demographics are, and things like that. So it's something that's done a lot as well. Um, Whether we realize it or not, a lot of these like Google Ads, they don't even tell you that they're running fake ads. Um, Armella, okay, let me read this. How does a business canvas in line by creating align by creating a fake ad on your business relate to the experiment diamond, you mean? Okay. Like I showed a while ago, if you have the business canvas, you run experiment diamonds on each area. You can use fake ads. Fake ads are not the only way, but for me, it's just the easiest way. Um, Other ways you can do that is you can probably, um, well, you can maybe create a fake, like a sample web page that, or you can use stuff like PowerPoint and try to recreate how your website would look, and then you send that to people. So there are different options to make it. Oh, here, so that's a question, Mikay. Well, fake ads, it really depends. For example, for applications using tools uh, like PowerPoint, I've used that a lot to to create applications. Because like in PowerPoint, you can click on a button and it goes to a different slide. So there are creative ways to do that. Hell, if you can draw something on paper, you use crayons, color pencils, things like that. Show that to people. That works also. The point is you want to gather data by showing people something. Um, the thing with the fake ad format that I shared is that it tackles a lot of things. It tackles what the language and like tonality should be of your product. You can even test colors. If you're using some Canva, you can make the ads in like different colors. You can test all these things, and there's a richness to data that you get from it. But fake ads are definitely not the only way. I would suggest just like sketching things. I I sketch a lot now. Like when I'm coming up with like maybe like website designs and things like that, I will just first sketch it. Um, and then I'll just send it to the artist. I'll send it to some people to get some feedback. Um, you may also want to look things around. There are a lot of prototyping applications that are for free online. So you may want to search that. Search for prototyping. And there's this application that I love using. It's called, it was made by Marvel. It's called POP, P-O-P. It's short for prototyping on paper. And just by sketching things on paper, right, and then using your phone to take a picture, you can actually make it interactive already. Then you can send a link to your friends, to some potential clients. Then let them interact with your drawings, and then give you feedback from that. Let me type that in. It's called Up by Marvel, which is prototyping for. So oh, there we go. Marvel app pop. So the link is there. So um, you know, for next week, we want you guys to apply the experiment diamond on your business model canvas, and maybe Sir Sunny, do you want me to share more about what they're going to do for next week?
Yes, please.
Yes, but is there any other questions? Is there anything else you want to maybe clarify? Anyone want to ask anything?
I guess instructions na doon sa worksheets
Okay.
nila.
Yeah, sige. So for next week, what we want to do really is we call this. What we want to do next week really is use the experiment diamond on your business model canvas. Again, it's best to just do it. Don't like overthink it. Maybe create some fake ads, okay? And instead of showing your outputs next week, of course it will be part of it. What I want all of you to maybe explain is to explain the process that you went through. As you're showing people your fake ads, what are they liking about it, or what are they struggling with as they're looking at it? What type of suggestions do they give? How did that feel for you to be receiving feedback from people very early on when your ideas are very raw? That's something that's not given enough importance. That a lot of people will realize that when people are giving them feedback for ideas that are very raw, a lot of people feel ashamed about that. So I want you guys to be able to navigate through that and see how can we get through showing very early versions of my idea. Again, knowing that the business model canvas is a living document that constantly has to evolve. As you're using it, as you're showing your prototypes to people, it you you now start shaping a different business model canvas. Maybe your revenue model from being transaction based has to become subscription based, or your marketing from being very macho and male centric has to have a softer side to it. And the thing is, these are very real business questions that need answer. That you need answered as you're launching a new business, and the only way you can do that is to create prototypes of possible solutions, or to possible answers to the questions that you have, showing it to people and getting feedback, and then from there learning and see where to take it next. So again, we don't want you to share your business ideas next week. We want you to share your business ideas within the context of the feedback you got, the process of building prototypes, of creating fake ads. And so we want you to be able to reflect on that. Because quite honestly, I'm not an expert on your business ideas. I really wouldn't be able to tell you whether it's gonna fly or not. But maybe as you're showing it to people, I want to see who of you built more confidence in your business idea because of doing experiments and feedback. Who of you felt that it's not worth doing this business idea? I might have to think of a new one instead because of the feedback that you're getting. And hopefully, by matching your experiment diamond with your business model canvas, it gives you this structure and this rhythm and cadence to see whether you should pursue your business or not, or pivot your business idea from that. Let me check. Do we have any questions still?
Yes, clarifications, especially on the assignment. Mikay, Luan, any clarifications? Betty? Ara?
Sir Son, may feedback kayo?
We're good. In fact, ano din ako the diamond exercise din ako kanina like this one, because this is something that we are starting at HR Entrepreneurship. And after the first batch, di ba, we have discussed in a separate meeting na we would like to make this a viable program for HR. So,
yes,
so iikot tayo doon. Doon sa, ito, nasa experiment phase tayo . right? And
Oh,
then
nga,
we will be asking questions.
it's a very simple format. It actually demystifies a lot of the complicated, um, things around launching a business. I think, and any successful entrepreneur, can tell you that until you get it out to people, no matter and getting feedback from it, you can't really tell whether it's going to work or not until you show it to people. So
Oh,
this experiment diamond really helps facilitate that.
okay. Pauline, meron kang, nawala si Pauline. Anyway,
Mhm.
again,
Mhm.
by the way, our schedule for next week will not be 4 p.m., but instead it will be 10 a.m. All right.
Yeah.
It will be Mick's birthday next Saturday. And
So
nakikisingit lang tayo sa kanyang special day. So he will be meeting with us around 10 a.m. And
mhm,
based on your output and your worksheets,
mhm,
we will be requesting some of you to share the process, the experience, and then
mhm.
Mix will be there to help us and assist us. Okay, any other
Yes.
clarifications, please? Baka meron
Siguro,
pa.
Sir Sunny, let me just I guess I also just want to add something in terms of like as you're doing this activity, I think it's very important just to really go out and and do it. Um, if you felt inspired by what we shared, or like you all of a sudden you want to do it, I guess I guess my next a suggestion is really just to go out and try it out, and this whole idea of being able to practice. I mean, a lot of you are in the well, you're all in the HR community, and you've all been, um, I guess, running workshops or training and things like that. And I honestly I spent the last 4 or 5 years doing a lot of training as well. And one of my number one frustrations is that as a lot of people will go through a workshop, but like will not apply it after. I was looking at numbers in the States. They spend what $170 billion. I think this was 2018, 2019 on like corporate training on L&D, and um, the retention rate of the skills is what 10%. So imagine there's so much waste going on. And if I may lang, sir, Sir Sonny, I just want to share um, my screen one last time.
Sure, sure.
So I just want to share this thing that that we're building in Ignite that specifically addresses this frustration. It's called Restart that app. It's basically helping. It's a web-based operating system that helps individuals, teams, and organizations survive and thrive in chaotic change. And the thing is, the way we built this, it's not in the sense of just workshopping your way through through the new normal. But it's really about bringing things into practice and action and into frequency. So basically, what you can do in the application that we're developing is really, um, we call this, we identify some practices and behaviors around innovation, around being more agile, around being more like innovative, and then letting people in your workforce practice these 24/7. It's augmented and like complemented by we'll be doing about 60 webcasts every 100 days that help shed light on what you need to do, similar to what we're doing today, that we have some concepts that we're sharing, but at the same time we want you guys to apply it. So you can actually check this out. It's there in a restart.ph.
Can they
Again,
can
that
they can they
Mhm.
actually get inside the applications or Mix?
Well, right now, not yet. Our first cohort launch will be around mid-June, but they'll be able to go to a restart.ph just to get an idea of what it's about.
All right.
So it's something that we're I guess as much as I didn't start off as a HR professional, but because I've been doing so much work around consultancy, corporate training, and pretty much holding hundreds of workshops over the last 4 or 5 years, and it's been a frustration of mine to see how hindi na apply all these great concepts, that you're learning in the corporate setting, but not being able to apply it. So it gets really frustrating at the end, and that's something that that we're trying to fix in Ignite. That the only way, I mean, I just finished watching yung Last Dance, yung kay Michael Jordan, and if you think about it, the only way Michael Jordan became Michael Jordan is because
Yay! Sorry, I had to like jump in.
kasi lagi lang siya nagpo-practice. He doesn't do it right all the time, but he always learns from it. There's this, and we need to take that same approach, when we're doing all these things in the corporate setting. And our hope is that with restart.ph, that with a restart app, that's something that we can, and that's the type of impact we want to, you can only make an impact in a person's life if you do something about it. If you actually put it to practice, you have enough frequency to do it, and you try to scale it with as much people as possible. And that's something that we're very adamant about in Ignite. So with that, for next week, my message really is just go out and try it out. Try out the experiment diamond on it, on your business model canvas. You might be surprised what you might come up with, what you might learn. You'll be surprised what one or two they call this feedback sessions will do in terms of the direction that your business can go. And I swear by it. I swear by it. So wait, let me check. Are there any questions? Yeah, are there any more questions? Thank you also for those that are here.
If there's none, groupie tayo.
Okay, sige.